Hey, what's up? It's Tati and I'm back with another review, this time the second episode of ROH TV, and I absolutely enjoyed this show. Now, once again, we have not really have any clarifications about if there's going to be people exclusively with ROH or exclusively with just AEW. It does seem like at this point, since their beginning, we're seeing a mixture from both promotions at both shows. So I do feel like that kind of helps since ROH is just starting out. So I don't mind that for right now, but I do think by the time the pay-per-view does come along, we'll definitely see more of who's going to be where. I think that would definitely help since AEW does have a pretty big roster, and with them, you know, splitting things would make things a lot easier for fans to watch. Now, this episode I really enjoyed. One thing that was a big focus today was the tag team division. We already know that since Jay has been gone, that they have to do something with the ROH tag titles. And I'm pretty sure they're going to do something about it at the pay-per-view. So what it looks like is that they're putting teams together right now. Possibly have several teams go at it at the Supercard of Honor. I'm not entirely sure, but I'm pretty sure we'll find out in the next few weeks or so. So that's the best way to go about it. I'm really glad that AEW just didn't take the titles away from Mark right away, and they let him have it for quite some time, and they'll be able to address the matter accordingly. Let's get straight into the review. First match of the night was Tony Deppen versus the ROH TV champion, Samoa Joe. This was a great match, and my only complaint was that it felt so short. So it was more than 5 minutes, but definitely less than 10. And I felt like they had great chemistry in the ring. And just when I kind of wanted it to continue, it ended. Samoa Joe obviously retains. And it looks like Samoa Joe was definitely letting off steam from, you know, no longer being the AEW TNT champion. Even though that this was taped before he actually lost that title, I do like how even though it's being taped before certain things would happen, they're still going with those storylines, so things do make sense. If that's something that you're worried about with enjoying the show, they are on top of these things, so everything is flowing really nicely despite it being taped prior to certain things happening. Like I said, it felt like it happened so fast, but they really put a great match, and it was a great way to start the show. Now, he does issue a challenge for anybody who would like to challenge him for the title, and we have Mark Briscoe coming out, who is accepting, and he wants that title, and he wants to move on obviously as a singles competitor. I don't mind seeing him going for the TV title compared to everyone who's saying that he should be going against Claudio. I feel like that's a little bit early right now compared to everything else that's going on. So if he goes for the TNT championship, I can definitely support that. Up next, we have Marcus Cross in the C4 versus Dalton Castle and the boys. This was another fun match that I enjoyed. I really wish that they had more of trios in ROH, because it looks like going from here we're going to see a rematch with the Embassy and Dalton Castle and the boys. I'm not opposed to that, because I feel like, well, they didn't get a rematch. The only thing is that AEW had an opportunity to use the Embassy. Instead, we were seeing a lot of Brian Cage, and that's not a bad thing, but I still feel like, hey, the other guys have titles, they're part of a team. Why not feature them to help with the trios at AEW while you guys are, you know, trying to make things happen with ROH? I feel like that's a huge problem with this division, because now I see throughout the night they're putting a really strong emphasis on the tag team division, which I wish they would do for the AEW tag team division. However, the 6-man tag is kind of getting lost in the shuffle. I really hope that something you know, sparks an interest with those titles. right after the Supercard of Honor pay-per-view. If anything, I kind of see Dalton Castle and the boys getting the titles back. I mean, I could be wrong. There's a few more weeks to see how things played out, but I don't like how the lack of using the embassy while they had the titles all these times, months sitting at home holding gold. That's just absolutely insane. But either way, this match was a really fun match. I enjoyed it. And you know what? Dalton Castle's gimmick, it's insane, but it fucking works. And he's over as hell with the crowd. Dalton and the boys do end up winning this match. I really did enjoy it, but I'm a little nervous right now for the 6-man tag division in ROH. Next, we have ROH and Dralistico versus Angelico and Serpentico. This was another great match. Actually, I feel like they've been putting on a lot of great matches. We just need to get some storylines going. So like I said, they are focusing on the tag division right now. And one thing that I can say is that we see Angelico and Serpentico use on like Dark or Elevation, and they're usually the jobbers. I hate saying that word, but they're really great competitors, and this match really shows how great that they are in the ring. For the most part, or on Dark and Elevation, they're losing and they're putting other people over. And I just feel like this match right here was an opportunity for people to really see how they are in the ring when they take themselves a little bit more seriously. Yeah, we get the same usual that we do have with them since they're part of the Spanish Announced Project, but I feel like this is the first time I've seen them in the ring and really took them seriously. And ROH and Dralistico, they're really great workers as well, and they all had great chemistry in this ring, so I really enjoyed this match. Now, ROH and Dralistico, they end up winning, and they took Serpentico's mask and tore it up. So it's great to see that they're still having consistency with that, since that's something that they've been doing, well, ROH been doing for the past few weeks. Now, ROH and Dralistico, they're pretty much kind of at the top of the list for me as far as winning the tag team gold right now. In a few weeks, we'll be able to see other teams coming together. So right now, they're at my #1 because I think they have the best chemistry. Up next, we had Trish Adora versus Billie Starkz. Now, Billie, she's 18 years old and she's really making a name for herself in the industry. However, the experience that Trish has really showed tonight, and she was really competitive. Both of them were pretty competitive, but I just enjoyed Trish a lot more in this match. And dare I say that I wouldn't be surprised that within a few months that people might enjoy the women's wrestling more in ROH than in AEW. That would be absolutely insane. So far, I have been enjoying the ladies in ROH, and I don't have much of a complaint. Even for the main event, we have Athena and Willow. I'll talk about that later, but that was another amazing match as well. So I'm really digging how they're going about things with the girls. No crazy storylines, just really great matches, and they're focusing on what they're doing in the ring rather than putting on ridiculous storylines. Either way, Trish really impressed me tonight. I've seen a lot of her matches, but this is probably the best one that I've seen her do. So this was another great match that they're putting together, and really I feel like ROH is off to a great start, especially with the women's division. Up next, we had Jake Crist and Man Scout versus Slim J and Ari Daivari. This match was less than 5 minutes. I did not care for it. The guy who is Man Scout, he looked like something from 80s wrestling, and in this case, that is not a good thing. He definitely needs a gimmick change. He needs a new outfit, like everything. And maybe people could take him a little bit more seriously. Like, I really just don't get this whole thing. The match was really short, and I just didn't care for it. If anything, Slim J and Ari Daivari, they were having a strong emphasis on wearing wife beater tank tops, and it's like, what the hell is that about? I didn't really enjoy it. This is one of the two things I did not like of the night. Up next, we had for the ROH Pre Championship, Wheeler Yuta versus Timothy Thatcher, and holy shit, this was my match of the night. I absolutely enjoyed this. This is definitely one of the best matches I've seen in 2023. absolutely love when matches are more technical than anything, which is why I think lately I've been really liking the Pure Championship rules. Throughout this match, we see these two really put their all into this. And Wheeler Yuta, Jesus Christ, just thinking back at when he was with the Best Friends compared to now, he has made an absolute improvement that is just insane, and it really showed here on this match. The only thing here, I'm pretty sure this was by design, but Timothy seemed to have I guess kind of not remember about the rules. So you know, you have rope breaks and things like that, and you know, he used up everything pretty quickly because you're so used to doing these things on regular matches that when you finally have a match like the Pure Championship rules matches, then sometimes you don't even realize that you're taking a break at that rope. So he used everything pretty quickly. But this match, oh my gosh, they have really great chemistry. And man, over a year ago, I wouldn't even say that we would see Wheeler Yuta doing things like this. He's been absolutely on fire, and he deserved to hold that championship. I really hope that we see a lot more with these two. I do think that at the pay-per-view he'll end up retaining, but this match right here was absolutely beautiful. Obviously Wheeler Yuta did win this match, and I can't wait to see what happens. Now after the match, Wheeler Yuta is giving a speech. Now there is a complaint that I do have. At times I felt like I just didn't hear them clearly when they were on the mic. I don't know, I don't want to say there's audio trouble, but something at times, it just feels like unless they're speaking really loudly on the mic, sometimes it was just difficult for me to understand what they were saying. So now we have Wheeler Yuta. He has basically gone full heel in a way where the crowd is just booing him, and we've seen that at the end of Dynamite this week, where they were booing the BCC, and we're seeing that now as well. Even though they're going that route where, you know, they're being heels, they're still amazing competitors in the ring, and I absolutely love it. Next up, we had some more tag team action with Aussie Open versus Tracy Williams and Red Titus, and I enjoyed this match. I feel like I'm saying that about almost every match, and that's absolutely a good thing. So they are off on the right foot when it comes to the wrestling in the show. I really like Aussie Open, and you know what? I feel like Mark Davis, he's the more heavier out of the two in Aussie Open. He has really impressed me. I would like to see him in a singles match. Like he does things that sometimes I feel like, wow, at his size he probably shouldn't be doing, and I'm all open to see him compete on his own. So after Jalisco and Roosh, I really hope to see Aussie Open competing for the tag titles. So they have really great chemistry as well. And in this match, we really see all four of these guys, you know, putting on a really great show. And like I just love how they're putting an emphasis on the tag titles. This was another enjoyable match, and I am really excited about the future for ROH. Aussie Open does get the win. I have nothing bad to say about this. Most of the matches were absolutely great. So up next we have Eddie Kingston versus Bendejo. Oh my god, I didn't realize this, but Ben is actually Serpentico. I don't know if he actually worked these two matches on the same night, but it doesn't even matter anyway, because this second match here was less than like, what, 2 minutes or so, and it was over. I feel like ROH, they're starting over clean. They do not need to have squash matches, if I can even call it that. Like within 2 weeks, there's no reason why we need to have something like this. And for Eddie Kingston, who had just quit AEW going into ROH, this doesn't make him come in strong into ROH doing this type of bullshit. I didn't enjoy this at all. Now after this match, Eddie ends up calling out Claudio. He wants a shot for the title, and Claudio is basically laughing in his face like, what the fuck? I know you not challenging me. And he just walks off. And Eddie ends up following him to the back, looking for for Claudio. And to be honest, I don't know how I feel about this. I'm not sure if I really like Eddie. I just don't feel like the way they're going about it is gonna make people want to see Eddie go against Claudio for this title. I'm just not feeling this. And for our main event, we have Athena versus Willow Nightingale, and this is the best match I've seen from Willow. I've definitely had my opinions about her. I don't think she's bad, but I really felt like she really needs a lot of improvement. And this is the first match that I've actually watched her in and felt like, holy shit, she's starting to get it. You know, I enjoyed this so much. And like I said, I just feel like just within these 2 weeks, all the women's matches were pretty solid, and this right here is probably the best one that I've seen so far from both AEW and ROH. So I really enjoyed this a lot. Now we do have Athena, who is still being in character, and this is why I say, you know, I know a lot of people don't watch Darker Elevation, but these storylines play out on those shows too. So moving forward, it's not that we haven't had any exchanges from Willow Nightingale and Athena. We've had those things, but AEW doesn't always show those on Dynamite and Rampage. Either way, this match was absolutely awesome. I was really surprised with how well these two did together. I knew for a fact that Athena was going to end up retaining. It was pretty much all about the performance, and these girls really knocked it out the park. I really enjoyed this match. So moving forward, I do feel like ROH is going off on the right note. These past 2 weeks have been strong with a few minor hiccups. I don't expect for it to be perfect, but with the experience with AEW, they have to provide something different with ROH, and also something reminiscent to what ROH has been as well. And I feel like so far we off on a good start. I really hope that they do kind of divide this roster between ROH and AEW, and how I feel like they're going to move forward with the tag division. I really feel like AEW should focus on that as well with their tag division, because I just feel like something is absolutely off with that title. And I felt like for a while the tag titles, that division was going a little strong, and now it just feels like, okay, it's going down to shit. So right now they're moving in a great way with ROH. If you're still thinking about watching it, I do recommend just at least checking out a few matches before buying it. And by the time the pay-per-view comes around, I think people will definitely have an opinion on whether or not this is a good buy for them to have this membership. And what is it, $9.99? I think it's worth it so far, no complaints. By the time the pay-per-view is over, I think people will definitely know if it's worth it or not. Guys, thanks so much for watching my review. I'll be back tomorrow with Rampage.